Somebody just entered the room.
Okay. Who is it that entered the room?
Are they the police?
I love you. I love you. It's Mom. God, Lord, Lord God. Lord God.
Is it the police?
No, it's not the police. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, my God.
Police.
Please.
They said put your hands up.
I love you. I love you. It's going to be fine. Can you hide somewhere? Can you play dead?
Some of the most recent mass shootings, what do they all have in common? Other than the dreaded AR15 or what have you. A good majority of these people were on SSRI prescription drugs, number one. And number two, if you look at a lot of these mass shootings, a good amount of these people have been surveilled by our government, but they decided not to do anything.
These people want three things, and I come here tonight with 39 years in law enforcement. I've Baker-acted people. I've taken weapons from people. The men and women I've worked with for almost 40 years. We know how to keep America safe. We know how to keep America safe.
Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I want you to take a listen to Stoneman Douglas High School senior Brandon Huff talking about your deputy, the school resource officer, Scott Peterson.
The school resource officer was behind a stairwell wall, just standing there. And he had his gun drawn, and he was just pointing it at the building. And shots started going off inside. You could hear them going off over and over. He was just talking on the radio, and he never did anything for 4 minutes. He's the only one with a gun. He's wearing a bulletproof vest, and he has all that while school security guards, coaches pretty much, were running in, shielding kids.
Sheriff, how do you respond to this student?
All what the students said, our video and audio and all the witness statements we have taken corroborates that. Our investigation to this point shows that during this horrific attack, while this killer was inside the school, there was only one law enforcement person, period.
When did your deputies, not Peterson, but the others, when did they arrive on the scene? Because Coral Springs sources say when Coral Springs police arrived, there were Broward deputies there in addition to Peterson.
We know how to keep America safe.
Now I'm just sitting here thinking about my daughter. Look. Nah. I want to know if he has kids. That's number one. I want to know if he has kids. There's something major about this. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, was he thinking to himself, if I go in here and die, my kid no longer has a father. My child doesn't have a father. Could that hold somebody back? The only thing in my mind would be, if this was my daughter's school, what would I want anybody with a gun to do?
All right, so let's talk about real quick Sheriff Scott Israel, Town Hall Center, CNN, whatever you think of that, well, fine. Here's the thing, he's calling for more gun control. He's sitting there calling for more gun control. Whether or not you like the NRA, you're a member or not, he's badgering the NRA spokesperson who had the cojones to show up in the first place, and taking zero responsibility for any of this. He has a deputy who's at the school who does not go into the school to engage this shooter. All right, that's number one. Number two, we all know fish rots from the head. You want to put it all on the deputy? This guy's the most hated man in America right now, let's be quite honest. But fish rot from the head.
So, let's talk about this sheriff, Mr. Israel, down in Florida, who is running to the anti-gun critics because he failed to protect those students, and his deputy also failed to protect those students, and he was trained to do so. Honestly, I think he should resign, and his career in law enforcement should be over, as shall the deputies. I truly believe that armed guards should be in schools, and they should be equipped to deal with anybody that wants to come in and do harm to our children and our babies. This whole using these kids as a tool for anti-gun and all this, I think is disgusting, and I think is wrong, and I think something needs to change.
Time.
Yes.
How now is an 18-year-old with a military assault rifle well regulated, used, supporting,
right? He's not. Well, he's not. He shouldn't have been able to get a firearm. He should have been barred from getting a firearm. And he should not have been able to. He should not have been able to purchase a firearm.
So what are you, the NRA?
I've read up on numerous articles about this, on what the policy is, what the procedure is, how the individual officer feels, how the actual sheriff feels about how his deputy acted, and there's just so much conflicting information, it's ridiculous. I mean, hands down, the guy should have went in, period, the end. There's no way you set up a perimeter while there's an active shooter in any kind of school, let alone any situation. So, I mean, the dude's a coward. I mean, he set up outside the school, ready to go in, and sat there for over 4 minutes during a 7-minute shooting while there's an active shooter in there killing kids.
If they take the guns that they feel that are most effective of us defending ourselves against them, meaning the government, that means we have a fighting fucking chance. Look at all the shit that's going on in the world with the divisions. We're so divided and shit now. It'll be easy to conquer. This is the same shit we've seen in history. Divide and conquer, then disarm. Once you do that, then it's easy. It's easy.
The conversation would speed up so much if they, instead of attacking, asked questions. That would make a whole lot more sense. You don't know about this thing. And I get it. The movies and media putting out false information has you guys thinking wrong information. You look at a gun, it looks scary, and you go, who needs that? No one needs that gun. There's no purpose for that gun. You can't hunt with it. The Second Amendment was not written about hunting. The Second Amendment was not written about shooting deer or boar. The Second Amendment was written so that the people had the same firepower that the government would have. If that government ever tried to turn tyrannical, we would have the same firepower that they have to fight back. That is why the Second Amendment exists.